Hi, thanks for joining us for our devotional video for today. We are in 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verses 13 through 18. And this section is one of my favorite sections in Scripture, and it's one of the more important ones for encapsulating what we believe as Christians, a hope of resurrection. And it's important to remember the context to which Paul is speaking. We've talked about it in previous videos, but here in his letters to the Thessalonians, they are in the midst of persecution. They are, somewhat new Christians who are facing persecution, and Paul isn't able to be there, and so he's trying to encourage them beyond what they can see. And so this first verse, verse 13, really is one of the themes, one of the high points of this first letter to the Thessalonians, talking about death, talking about the coming of the Lord. And so this first verse, verse 13 says, "But we do not want you to be uninformed, brothers, about those who have fallen asleep, that you may not grieve as those who do not have hope." How we grieve as Christians is different from how the world grieves. And I think it's so important that Paul says he doesn't say, don't grieve. He says, don't grieve as those who don't have hope. In other words, grieve, but grieve with hope, right? We have a hope that even though people that we love have passed on from this life, that's not the end of the story. People who don't have the hope of Jesus, who think that this life is all that there is, or that have some kind of misunderstanding about life after death, well, then they don't have true hope. If this is all that there is, well, then yeah, there's a lot of reason to grieve. You're never going to see that person again. But as Christians, we have a hope that permeates how we see things. And so we grieve when we lose someone that we love. God has given us people that are in our lives that make an impact, and when death rips them away, it hurts, it stings. But death doesn't get the final word. Jesus has taken the permanent sting out of death. And so while death hurts this side of heaven, we know that death does not get the final word. And so we as Christians, we grieve, same as everybody else. But we grieve with hope. We know that this life is not the end of the story. There's more to this life. There's more to life after death than what others believe. We grieve with hope. Hope because Jesus overcame death, because he didn't stay in the grave. And that is at the crux, part of the most important part of what we believe about Jesus. And so it's a great reminder here that Paul is talking to the Thessalonians about, and it still has great implications for us today. God's blessings on the rest of your day.